Made in Hollywood.
The family comedy The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, starring Judy Greer and Pete Holmes, is made in Hollywood.
I remember once when Dallas's wife Amanda was in town, she was like, you know, I can hear you when the camera's not rolling. And I was like,
we were clowning?
We were being naughty.
We were on the naughty list for sure.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, Anthony Mackie tries to survive a post-apocalyptic future in the sci-fi thriller Elevation.
It was more so just us going hiking and running every day. It was a lot of physical work because we knew how much running we were going to have to do.
Plus, Luke Evans stars in the action thriller Weekend in Taipei. We sit down with the cast of the romantic comedy trilogy The Groomsmen, and the psychological thriller Cellar features Jordana Brewster and Scott Speedman. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
A group of troublemaking siblings unwittingly teach a community the true meaning of the holidays in the family comedy The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, featuring Judy Greer.
Don't miss out. The annual Christmas pageant tickets are on sale now.
They're advertising it on TV now?
I want to give special mention to Grace for volunteering to direct it.
You did what?
Oh no. Did somebody die?
It's worse than that, son.
It's going to be the best Christmas pageant ever.
This film touches on themes of community, kindness, and second chances. What themes personally resonated with you two?
Yeah, when I first read the book, in fact, this is the actual copy, the actual book that my wife brought home 20 years ago. You can even see I even wrote notes for, like, if I got a chance to make the movie, some of the things I wanted to do with it. And so for over 20 years, I have been wanting to make this, because when I read it to my kids, I was laughing through most of it and then crying so hard in the last chapter I couldn't even finish reading. My wife had to take a turn and then she'd hand it back to me because we were both crying so much.
Oh no, it's the Hermans. Now. The Hermans are absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world.
Based off of this dynamic happening right now, tell me what it was like working with Pete on set. How did you keep a straight face? Did he mess up a lot of takes?
I did.
Yes, but mostly just because he
money.
didn't know his lines ever.
That's not true.
Just kidding.
JK, but we did clown a lot.
I remember once when Dallas's wife Amanda was in town, she was like, you know, I can hear you when the camera's not rolling. And I was like,
we were clowning?
We were being naughty.
We were on the naughty list for sure.
For sure.
But I would clown around in Judy's coverage. So the shot is of Judy, and I'm just there to say my lines off camera. And that's when I like to clown around the most. Because there's no way you could use what I'm doing. It's not even being filmed, and yet here I am. Just a little burr on her sock.
I believe there is an outtake where I'm saying, it's my coverage.
Yeah.
Because you kept messing up.
We're gonna be in your Bible play.
Herdman's in church.
Oh boy.
It's been a long time since we've had like a theatrical Christmas classic event film. You see a lot of Christmas movies on television nowadays or streaming. So we wanted to make one of those films that was accessible to families, whether young or old, so that you feel like there's something in it for you and you leave feeling good. You laugh, you cry, you have all the feels, and in a timeless classic, you'll notice when you watch the film that we stay away from time periods because we want it to be very neutral in its time period, but that was the goal.
We take the pageant seriously. It's about community and tradition. What do you all suggest, that I kick the Herdmans out of the church? Yes.
I want to be Mary, and Ralph wants to be Joe.
And the angel of the Lord?
Ow! Second chances.
Yes.
I'm a big fan. That is my favorite theme of this movie.
Me too. When people seem like they're on the other side of the boundary, and they're brought into the fold, we love those stories.
Because the theme of recognizing that outsiders, even those in poverty, are sometimes closer to the heart of the true Christmas story. We see the Nativity as this kind of precious little Christmas scene, and everything's clean, and yet these kids, the Herdman kids, the worst kids in the world, actually understood the story maybe better than the rest of us do.
You know, we're giving the Herdmans a second chance, but we're also allowing the community to have a second chance to see this family in a new light.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
You know who's really being given the second chance is all the hard-nosed people that were outcasting them. The Herdmans were fine the whole time.
I think everyone's been given one in this movie and in a story like this, which is what I really love.
What if the Hermans ruin this for you?
They probably will, but it's not about me. Jesus was born for the Herdmans as much as he was for us. We'll be missing the whole point of the story if we turn them away.
A single father is forced to embark on a treacherous mission to save his son in the post-apocalyptic thriller Elevation, starring Anthony Mackie and Marina Baccarin.
3 years ago, the world we knew disappeared overnight.
Well, you know, it starts off with him in a very tumultuous situation with the loss of his loved one and now the potential loss of his child. He doesn't want to be there, but it's something he has to do.
We still don't know why above 8,000 feet we're safe.
I think initially it is a very selfish thing that she does. You know, if we have a chance to survive, I am that chance. And then I think as she's going on this journey, she realizes this is so much bigger than just her.
They can't be killed, but no one's had a chance to study them. You study something long enough, you can figure out how to kill it.
If it doesn't kill you first.
Anthony, I've worked with 3 times, so it was a no-brainer. We have a shorthand and so forth. Marina was a dream, awesome to work with her. You know, she sometimes doesn't get a chance to do these kind of roles, and she really hit it out of the park.
I love them. They're so fun. I had such a nice time. They're really, really great people and very talented actors.
Hunter's last filter burnt out. The hospital in Boulder will have a crate of them.
You're gonna have to go below the line at least a dozen times.
If I don't go, Hunter dies.
Run! George forced us into altitude adjustment or something. I forget what altitude.
Acclimation.
Acclimation,
Yeah.
which he didn't do. He didn't do none of the training with us, but it was more so just us going hiking and running every day. It was a lot of physical work because we knew how much running we were going to have to do.
It was hard because we were actually at quite a high elevation. So we did have to train to even be able to breathe.
We all went out on this hike together, and Mackie was like a good half a mile ahead of me, I think, most of the time. I am like sucking in air and like my lungs are burning. It did not get easier for me. We had oxygen canisters on set all the time.
Right.
I utilized them quite a bit.
We only ran uphill every single time.
So we got to talk to George for that.
I can't lose you.
This is about more than just your son.
There's no such thing as more than my son.
Coming up, Luke Evans and Sung Kang face off in the action thriller Weekend in Taipei. To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it.
It just felt like a very fun role, fun character. Got to move to Taipei for 3 months. Taipei became such an incredible part of the story.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
An undercover agent rekindles a long-lost love with one of the underworld's best transport drivers as Luke Evans stars in the action thriller Weekend in Taipei.
I'm John Lawler. I was undercover to finally take Kwong's operation down.
It just felt like a very fun role, fun character. Got to move to Taipei for 3 months. Taipei became such an incredible part of the story.
I've had the incredible fortune and great luck to have been collaborating with Luc Besson for the last 10 years. We've written a couple of scripts together. And so he came to me with this idea a couple of years ago. We want to do a female transporter movie set in Asia.
Ready? Who's the snitch?
That's an excellent question.
Luc Besson and George Huang wrote a beautiful script. It's just full of everything. It's amazing fight sequences, great action pieces, it's a strong emotional core.
After what happened last time, go relax. The drugs will still be here on Tuesday, and so will Kwong.
All right.
What excited me about playing this character was the, possibility of
or the potential of working with George Huang. You know, the idea of being able to collaborate with, you know, one of your heroes was very exciting.
George steered the ship beautifully. It was lovely to have a Taiwanese American director, you know, who had co-wrote the script with Luc Besson.
I don't know why you married Huang. Sometimes it's easier to forget the past.
Joey, it's been 15 years. Whatever broke your heart is not coming back.
Wyatt was just so charming and innocent and unfazed by everything impressively, because he'd never been on a film set before. This was his first job.
Sung and Luke, they're amazing actors. I've seen them like all over. And yeah, I definitely learned a lot from them.
What are you doing here? How did you find me?
Mom, who's this?
Mom, you have a son?
John. Probably so far, one of the best experiences of my life. Yeah, I had a blast on set.
Calling Cinnamon right now.
I came 3 weeks before we started shooting and spent every day with the stunt department. 3 weeks of rehearsal put me in good stead then to be able to do the stunts.
You bring me my wife, and you kill John Lawler.
You're in trouble now.
You're playing in sort of the sandbox that Luc Besson created. I mean, you know, he is the guy behind some of the most iconic movies in that genre. Transporter, Taken, La Femme Nikita, The Professional. So he knows exactly how to do this type of stuff.
And they work very well together, George and Luke. I think that's a partnership that we will see a lot more of, I think, as we go forward.
You're supposed to be dead.
Give it a minute, kid, and your mom will take care of that.
Now available on your home screen. Bromance meets romance as three childhood best friends flip the traditional romantic comedy on its head in the Groomsmen trilogy.
You asked us to come and keep you from making a huge mistake. I didn't ask, you just showed up.
Obviously, the big, elephant in the room is that it's not BJ. The big elephant in the room is that, like, they're told from the male's point of view. That's, like, the baseline of what makes these different. But then I think what also makes them different is the fact that we shot them in these locations and we block shot everything. So all the movies like intertwine in a way and kind of do this dance that we've never seen in a group of movies on Hallmark Channel before.
How they all kind of tie in together. You get each one of these love stories, you watch them intertwine and culminate in the end. Feels like an experience a little bit unique to everything else out there. And I think that's a lovely thing anytime you can do something that feels a little bit fresh.
I'm sorry, but what's wrong with my clothes?
With all due respect, and keeping in mind that I'm one of your best friends and I love you, you dress like a high school guidance counselor.
I'd say at one point, I'm like, you dress like a high school guidance counselor. But if you actually look at the movie, we did a poor job on my producing end that I'm dressed in the exact same clothes that BJ is. It's just a different color. And so when I look at it, I was like, oh, I should have been wearing something cooler that day.
He's a little uptight, that Jackson, but these men will help him through that moment in his life.
I'm so sorry. You will see how he lets go in 4, 5, and 6. Oh my God, it is amazing.
And girls in 4, 5, and 6, he's gonna let go.
He's gonna let loose too much, even.
Did I just spoil it for us? 4, 5, and 6 is not. You got the exclusive.
What if he doesn't have feelings for me?
What if he does?
To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next, Jordana Brewster and Scott Speedman star in the psychological thriller Cellar Door.
When the movie starts, I think it's actually really refreshing to see a marriage like this portrayed. It's frayed.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now on digital. A city-dwelling couple strike a Faustian bargain for the suburban house of their dreams as Scott Speedman and Jordana Brewster star in the suspense thriller Cellar Door.
Dear John and Sarah, it's clear you seek a new beginning, and I'd like to help. This house represents a past I wish to leave behind. I'd like to give the house to you, with one simple condition. You must never open the cellar door.
Sarah, my character, goes through so many different phases of life that I've also been through, and I understood her coping mechanisms.
When I read scripts to direct, you know when they hook you. I love it when there's like an elegantly simple premise at the center to explore.
This place is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Ever find out what was in the cellar?
Life is good. I don't need to look.
I think you want to look. I think you can't help yourself.
When the movie starts, I think it's actually really refreshing to see a marriage like this portrayed. It's frayed, right? Like it's worn in. It's not like the beginning where it's sexy and exciting.
In movies, we have to explore what you shouldn't do sometimes, and as characters, I'm always looking for that. And yeah, watching his descent into the madness was, in the script, was really fun for me to read and then to play.
This relationship has this sort of undercurrent of deceit and lies and all of these things that you know are in this cellar.
You must be the new neighbor. I hope you guys stick around.
She's an incredible actress, and I'd never seen her do anything like this before. And there was such depth, there was such nuance and subtlety to her performance, which was something I asked of both of them. I wanted it to feel natural. I didn't want it to feel melodramatic.
We're not the first people he's done this to.
We could lose everything. Do you really want that?
25 years ago, Emmett Claymore's wife and daughter just disappeared.
I keep thinking of a Jenga puzzle. Like the Jenga puzzle is gilded and it's perfect, and she wants it to just stay in place. Because if she takes one tile off, the whole thing's going to come down.
The guilt is probably a combination of whatever is there, but I think guilt just starts to weigh on him and pushes him further and further and further into the madness. The cellar door is exposing his truth, which is, you know, rotten at his core on some level.
There's a dark corridor in all of us with a little cellar door at the end, right, where we bury the things that we want to hide. We've all got them, right? However deep we bury them, however far away we try and push them, they always have a way of returning. There's always a trap door to them, often in the most surprising and odd and very inconvenient ways.
You know what they say about old houses? They all have their deep, dark secrets.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by MoviePhone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.